What's good, sports bettors? Welcome to Root Talk on Thursday, April 18th. We have ourselves quite the boring afternoon and evening across the sports world today. We have no NBA action whatsoever, and we only have 5 games in the MLB tonight. So today's episode is going to be a little bit short, and we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to actually craft a slip on PrizePicks together using the Root Bet Simulator across this small slate and see what we can come up with. So without any further ado, let's just jump into some of the stuff that I want to talk about here today across the slate. So one thing we're going to start out with is the ballpark factors, and this is from our friends over at ballparkpal.com. This is kind of just a live model for weather factors at the different stadiums where the games are being played today. And one thing you'll notice is a lot of red. So we're looking at Comerica Park in Detroit, minus 17% in the number of home runs that are expected. Oracle Park, minus 21%. Fenway, minus 43%. That's a major reduction as the wind is blowing in. Tropicana, it's in dome, so only minus 5%, so that could be a good game to target 4 home runs. And then Wrigley Field, minus 30%, wind blowing in from left field. So overall, we don't have too much going on in terms of home run probabilities. But that being said, me being me and this show being what it is, we definitely still have our home run heroes for the day, because there are still some guys who do have decent probabilities, and just because the weather is poor doesn't mean that some of these guys can't hit one out. So let's go over who my 4 favorite are for the day for the home run heroes, starting with number 1, Mike Trout. As I mentioned, Tropicana Field, it's a dome. It only has a 5% reduction in home runs, so there still is great conditions here for a home run, and Mike Trout has been absolutely on fire. We have Mike Trout with a 31% chance to hit a home run today, which is great odds. It's really in the sweet spot where Mike Trout has been going yard this year from our projections. He did hit one out yesterday, I believe, and he might have even hit one out the day before, but I do think today he is in the best spot overall across the 5 games to hit a home run, so Mike Trout will be our number 1. Number 2, looking across the slate, we have Jazz Chisholm. We have him with a 28% chance to hit one out today. I do like Jazz a lot on the slate across the board in multiple stat categories, and I think today on the home run front, he does look pretty good. Our 3rd home run hero is the man himself who people have been claiming and making a lot of allegations on his build this year compared to last year. He looks jacked. Adolis Garcia, 27% chance to hit a home run. Even with the minus 17% reduction in home runs in Detroit, Adolis is strong enough to knock one out, and the wind is slightly blowing towards left field, and he's a pull hitter, so he could push one out pretty easily. And 4th and finally, we have Christopher Morel. Now, this one I do think might be a little bit more of a long shot. We have him with a 25% chance. He is the best player on the Cubs with the likelihood to hit a home run today, but there is that minus 30 reduction in Wrigley Field with the wind blowing in. We do know how windy it gets up there. You can smack one with 105 exit velo, perfect launch angle, and the wind can pull it back. But if the conditions are right at game time, Christopher Morel does look like he has a good opportunity to hit a home run today. So those are our home run heroes, and we're going to go ahead and jump into what I want to do here today, which is craft a slip on PrizePicks. So we're going to start off, we're going to go over to the Root Bet Simulator, and we're going to go to the top projections tab. If you guys want to join Root Bets, there is a code FIRE, F-I-R-E, for 20% off your first month, and you get access to our top projections dashboard, as well as our game simulation model for every single game for both the NBA and MLB. So in the top projections tab for today, which is April 18th, I need to update that, my bad there. We're going to look at who we think might be good for a slip. I like looking at HRR. I like looking at hits when we're looking to go for things that are likely to actually cash. So let's start by focusing on HRR. And as we look across this list, we have Cody Bellinger. He's projected 3.14. I do like Cody, but he has been pretty cold, so I might be staying away from him. But Nico Horner, on the other hand, I do like Nico Horner. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can find Nico Horner. Nico Horner, HRR, where are we, buddy? Here we go. So he is a green goblin, unfortunately, at 1.5. We could take him at 2.5 on the demon slip, but for now, let's just add him as the green goblin at 1.5. And let's keep going down this list. So Garrett Cooper, Luis Arraez, he's been pretty cold as well, but we do have Jazz Chisholm there, who I do like a lot today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add Jazz to the slip as well. Jazz Chisholm, HRR, all we have for, there we are, actually, we have a normal multiplier right there on 1.5 HRR for Jazz. I do like that as well. Looking across, let's see what else we have here. We have Christopher Morel, we have Yandy Diaz, who also could be a good play today in that dome. Jaren Duran, another one I really like. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go look at the game sim real quick. And I want to go look at the Angels versus the Rays. And let's go ahead and actually see what these guys are looking like on the dashboard. Yandy Diaz projected about 5 at-bats. He's batting .310 versus right-handed pitchers over the last 2 years. Projected 1.37 hits. He has been pretty cold from the plate, but that does equate to about 2.42 HRR, including the half RBI and half run projected, so he should get one of either of those two. And yeah, as we look across the slate, he does seem to be the best option on the Rays today to score. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to add Yandy to this list. And let's see if we have an HRR for him, as well as a Green Goblin once again for the 1.5, because he is in that leadoff spot. And we did want to also look into Jaren Duran. So let's see what we have here for him. Once again, a Green Goblin for him on the HRR front. A little unfortunate there, but we'll see what we can get with here. And then going down the list a little bit more, let's see if there's anybody else we like. Dansby, Harold Ramirez, Dallas Garcia. And then once we get under that 2 mark is where I kind of like to fall off. I like to round down, so I'm not going to focus on any of these guys down here. But let's see if we can add one more in. Maybe Jose Ramirez. Let's go ahead and look at that game real quick. Cleveland at Boston, Jose Ramirez in the 3rd spot, 294, projected to get about a hit. David Fry and Andres Jimenez ahead of him. Andres Jimenez at 2.12 could be good as well. But when we look at this, Josh Naylor's batting .311 versus left-handed pitchers. I do like Naylor in this spot as well, but the home run probabilities are pretty low today, which I do not love. As we go back to the top projections sheet, let's just see. Maybe we can add some hit slips. Let's go look at hits. Where are we? Hits. We don't have hits on this, but we do have total bases. Okay, so let's look at just what's on the popular page real quick. Hitter fantasy score is what we're kind of looking at in terms of that. Let's go to total bases. Let's see if there's anyone over 0.5. Mickey Moniak. I do believe Mickey Moniak was on this list. No, he was not. I was incorrect there. Whoops. Let's go back to HRR here and let's find. It's Dallas Garcia at 1.5. I do like that as well. So we have 5 people. Let's try to get one more for the 6-man. And as we keep scrolling down, we do see Jose Ramirez there at 1.5. That would be a Green Goblin as well. So we do have 4 Green Goblins on this slip, unfortunately, which would make it a 10x. But that actually isn't too bad. So if we do 25 to win 250 on the 10x, I do think that that is not a bad outcome. All right, so there's our slip, actually. I think that's what we're going on with. Nico Horner, Jazz Chisholm, Yandy Diaz, Jaren Duran, Adolis Garcia, Jose Ramirez, all over 1.5 HRR. We're going to place that entry. And entry successfully submitted. That is the slip. If you want to go ahead and use this, feel free to. I think it's a great slip here today on a small slate. And if we're going for a 6x or a 6-man, I think this is your best bet at this point. Obviously, I think it would probably be smart to take this and drop it into a couple 3-mans. Pick your favorite 3, put them on a slip together, maybe even do a 4-man or a 2-man as well to leverage some of that risk. But these are the 6 best options that we have today. And if you really wanted to go home runs, what you could do is you could go Mike Trout, you could do Adolis Garcia, you could go Morel, and you can go Jazz Chisholm, which are our 4 home run heroes. And that would be 25 to win 2,500. It is a 100x for these 4 players if you wanted to go that route. So yeah, that is going to be our show today, honestly. Like I said, we really don't have too much content because there aren't many games going on today. If you liked the process of using the Rootbet Simulator and the projection models to go ahead and craft a slip, like I said, 20% off your first month using code FIRE, FIRE at checkout. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow when we have more games in the NBA and the MLB.